a little bit late. We had some technical difficulties, and it's kind of a half miracle that we got five people on and everything working technically. So, thank you for joining us today. We are so excited to talk with you. I am Steph Lee, the founder of Host Agency Reviews, if we haven't met before. And today we have the wonderful team on from Avoya Travel, and they're going to talk about how to find success in the new age of travel. So what we're going to be doing is I'm going to do an intro. We're going to hand it over to Avoya. They're going to talk about the different pieces of the puzzle that kind of make it so your experience at Avoya is going to be a great and a strong one. So I'll do a video, or let's see. I'm sorry. I'll do some intros and then we'll go ahead. And what I'm going to do too is I'm going to put a chat overlay here so we can see any chats that come in. So if there's anything funny, I just got a note that some of the videos are a little choppy. So if anyone's seen that, let us know in the comments. But it sounds like it might have been fixed. So let's start with some intros. So we'll start with Chris Green, the Director of Network Expansion over at Avoya. Hey, Chris.
Hey, Steph.
So question for you, because we're on the puzzle topic. Do you like puzzles and are you good at them?
I am horrible at puzzles. I'm married well. So I usually do okay when I'm like in the couple night and it involves puzzles. But if I'm the Jenga guy, I just buy the round early because I know that thing's tumbling over pretty quick.
I like that you married well. That was very smart and an important thing a lot of people don't consider during marriage, but that's an important thing to a successful relationship.
Absolutely.
Next up, we have Andy Craig, the Associate Vice President of Marketing. So welcome, Andy.
Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
Yes, and what about you? What's your luck here? Did you marry into puzzles or?
I didn't marry into puzzles, but thankfully I have a 2.5-year-old that absolutely loves puzzles. So I watch her do the puzzles that have about 12 pieces, and she figures them out faster than me.
That's awesome. Well, welcome. Laura Burke is our next panelist. She's the Senior Manager of Avoya Mastermind. So hello, Laura. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
So happy to have you. What about your puzzle situation?
I am a problem solver by nature, so I love puzzles and I'm good at them, and it doesn't matter that I married well. So
I like we have a theme going though. At least.
I know, like people are going to be like, we're going to change the world. People are like, I saw this Avoya webinar and then it changed my life because I ended up marrying someone else that was a lot better fit puzzle wise.
It's important.
Yes. And last but not least, we have Mickey McBride, the Director of Strategic Partnerships. So hello, Mickey, in your telephone booth over there.
I know. How cool is this? Thank you so much for the opportunity, Steph.
Yes, it's so great to see you. So, share with us kind of, are you good with puzzles? Do you like puzzles?
I think so. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely like a therapeutic element to it. So we have quite a few puzzles in the house. I also married well, and we actually just had a garage sale. We're expecting a newborn here pretty darn soon, so had to kind of declutter a little bit. Unfortunately, puzzles were some of the things that we had to let go of, but
blasphemy.
I know. It's a little tough, so I'm glad that we're able to talk about puzzles today.
Yeah. Yes, and I see Marie also likes puzzles. So Marie, this is going to be the webinar for you. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead. I'm going to let Chris take over. He's going to kind of moderate this next section. Everyone will talk about their roles at Avoya. We'll get to know. If you have questions, we're going to do a question and answer section at the end of the webinar. So please feel free to type them in because like you can see, they'll show up on the side. So please feel free to type them in as they come in. And with that, I think I'll pass it over to Chris.
Thanks, Steph. We really appreciate, again, the opportunity to be here. And we're here to talk about dreams and how those dreams can come true, because for so many people, travel is their passion. And if that's you, then it's time to invest in you and make that dream come true. Don't let your dreams just be dreams. You can join the 1,000+ travel professionals in the Avoya network by creating the successful business that you've always wanted. I mean, if you've been dreaming of being your own boss and traveling the world, creating endless adventures for yourself and your clients, and finding even greater success, then it's time to make your small business ownership's dreams reality with the industry's #1 travel network. So we're here today because the travel industry is a little bit of a puzzle. So many moving pieces, and each piece so important on its own, but together incredibly vital. So today our goal is to make that puzzle a bit clearer by bringing together this dynamic panel for a roundtable discussion. And some of the topics we're going to cover today is why it's the perfect time to join the travel industry, how to turn your entrepreneurial dreams into reality. We'll discuss how each department at Avoya Travel works as a piece of the sales puzzle to bring success to our independent network. And for those of you in our network, Avoya's leading resources designed to help you successfully run your own independent travel agency. So we've already introduced our panel, and it's really exciting. So I'm going to start with Andy Craig. Again, Andy Craig, our Associate Vice President of Marketing. Andy, maybe you could elaborate a little bit, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you ended up at Avoya Travel as the Associate Vice President of Marketing.
Chris, being my own boss sounds really good. Is there opportunities for? No, I'm just kidding. On the Avoya front, I've been here approaching September will be 11 years actually. So I've held numerous roles inside the organization on the traveler side of marketing. So I understand the business exceptionally well, or at least I like to think I understand the business exceptionally well. But I oversee a team of amazing individuals that is in charge of all of the email marketing, social media marketing, direct mail, content, all of our blog writing, our independent marketing resources that we provide to the network. So everything that is done to drive engagement and leads through avoyatravel.com is overseen by myself and some key individuals on the team. So I'm excited about the opportunity to be here today and excited about the travel industry as we move forward.
Perfect. And Mickey McBride, please introduce yourself and give us a little bit about your background, how you ended up at Avoya Travel.
Awesome. So I'm the Senior Director of Strategic Partnerships here at Avoya Travel and have been with the company for over 9 years, largely in part due to Andy's referral, actually. Him and I go way back as dear friends. So he had been here for a couple of years prior to me jumping on board, and it's been a wonderful experience ever since then. So I came in and have always worked with our partnerships and what was formerly called our business development team. And as we've kind of evolved and expanded, taking on different roles within the partnerships realm, our focus has really been on growing the number of products available to the network. And also for me personally, over the last few years, really seeing a greater emphasis on resort expansion. So I'll definitely have some great tidbits to share with you all on that. But at the end of the day, our role as a team is to continue to build and nurture those relationships with the supplier partners that help drive further value to the Avoya network. So,
perfect. And Laura Burke, you bring a really unique aspect to the table in that, much like myself, you're a former affiliate in the Avoya network. So you've seen everything from both sides of the coin. Tell us a little bit about yourself, your history in the travel business, and how you came to work with Avoya Travel as our senior manager of Avoya Mastermind.
Well, it is an interesting journey to where I'm sitting right now. I've been with Avoya on the dark side, as we like to call it sometimes, for about 9 years as well. I think Mickey and I came in pretty close to each other there, but I was an independent agency owner before I came in. I was very successful with the Avoya Mastermind program. I attribute that to my success. And it was a family thing. My in-laws were also affiliates with Avoya Travel at the time. And now my husband's an IA, so he's been with Avoya for going on 10 years as well. So my department, the Avoya Mastermind program, especially my early success team, we put our hands on the new independent agencies right as they're enabled to claim those Avoya Live leads. And we help coach them and guide them through the puzzle that we're going to be discussing today, because things are constantly changing, moving. Sales is a journey, and it's not the same journey for everyone. And so just trying to give best practices and helpful feedback to get them to their, having success with the live leads is what we are all about. So,
I mean, the whole thing, right, is you try and arrange the pieces together to form this solid picture, but if you are missing an ingredient, or sometimes, right, that one piece of the puzzle, it's fallen behind the couch or whatever, that picture sometimes looks more like something a kindergarten student brings home versus the masterpiece that you aim for. And Mickey and Andy, I would assume that strategic partnerships and marketing work fairly close together. That seems to me to be a natural assumption. Is there any truth to that?
Definitely. We've worked closer than ever over the last 2 years in terms of how we collaborate. What we've learned is collaboration is key in terms of, with our kind of lean and mean teams, we've really had to find efficiencies in terms of how we work together. So from Mickey's standpoint, he's really working with the suppliers directly, and we're kind of the the boots on the ground directly with the travelers that were driving to the website to ultimately submit vacation interest to for a live lead over to the network. So there's been a lot of collaboration with the strategic partnerships team and the marketing team. So Mickey's really out securing those exclusive offers that we can then market to consumers and providing those Avoya advantages that they can't get elsewhere. He's really managing the relationships as well. Mickey, you want to add anything there from your role?
Yeah, no, as Andy touched upon, the efficiency side of things has just been at a whole new level. And I think at the end of the day, it's how do we continue to make things as efficient for the network, whether it's through the lead generation, which Andy's team is incredibly skilled at. And we're just another layer to help support them in their efforts, but also we work closely with a dedicated promotions team. I don't think there's any other agency out there that has the resources that are devoted to promotions and making sure that those are well communicated to the Avoya network, and in turn something very clear for Andy to go back to market with. So the parallels between marketing and strategic partnerships is definitely hand in hand, but also we work closely on our side with accounting and help make sure that those commission payments are coming in. The professional development that Laura and her team has to offer is truly one of a kind. And so, any kind of assistance that we can provide, layering in the supplier side with the education and the resources that they're able to provide, it's just kind of a win-win across the board.
Absolutely. And then Laura, of course, explain to me a little bit about the ways that the work done by the marketing team, our strategic partnerships team, would impact the work you do in the Avoya Mastermind program, because it only matters if we close the sale, right?
It does. And it's funny, as I'm sitting here listening to Mickey and Andy talk, and I'm looking at kind of our pictures there, it's like, if we look at this, we've kind of got the full gamut of, we've got the partnerships, we have the customers, we have the IAs, you and I, with that. And so I think the key component here is relationships. There's relationships at every stage of the game here. And so if we're not building strong relationships from top to bottom, then we don't have the success that we're having. So this is a full gamut picture right here of the resources that Avoya Travel has. My department, and particularly, it's the relationships of, in the business of selling you, and knowing and understanding how to use the resources that Mickey's team, puts for us, the great deals, the marketing that Andy and his team create, and being able to leverage all of that to make a great first impression and connect at a personal level with these people to make the sale is what we do with my team. And the other resources that we have, brand sales, Avoya University, our support team. I mean, if you want to talk resources, there is nobody better in the business than Avoya with resources.
Absolutely. And I think if you had to rank those resources, I think it's fair to say, and everybody would agree, at the very tip top is the famous Avoya Travel Live Lead program. That sourcing of clients. I mean, who am I going to sell to, talk to, and engage with for the purpose of being a travel advisor? It's really the most critical piece of the puzzle in some ways, and it's one that Avoya takes great pride in helping to solve. And I'd like to hear from each of you on the resource of live leads, kind of do this as a 360 overview, and how each of your departments helps in solving that piece of the puzzle. So, Andy, let's start with you in marketing, because that seems the natural place to start. Explain to me how marketing helps in the Avoya Live Lead process.
Definitely. So to put it into perspective, I was looking this morning, year to date, we've driven over 90,000 live leads through the Avoya website that were able to be claimed and worked by an independent agency. So it's pretty eye-opening when we're looking at the number and the sheer volume of customers that are coming through avoyatravel.com in terms of looking to plan their next great vacation. So some of the things we're doing, we have a team dedicated to email, social media, direct mail, paid marketing. So we're really have a spread reach in terms of all of the different channels that we're testing and optimizing different marketing campaigns and to really find what's working best. We know each customer is different, so it's touching them at the right time with the right message when they're in that booking process. They may just be browsing. So what can we do from a messaging standpoint to get them to move from just browsing to start to research and things like that? So we have different components that we're using at each different phase of that sales funnel, we'll call it, from a customer perspective, to kind of move them along ultimately to get them to submit interest on the website. So We have those incredible offers that Mickey had talked about earlier that are really unique and exclusive to Avoya. So that's a huge helping hand in terms of what differentiates us. Combined with the kind of independent network, we're really unique. So our model really sets us up for success, and there's no one like us out there in the marketplace.
And Mickey, I would assume that strategic partnerships has to be involved in the live lead process, because without amazing vendors, those deals that Andy was talking about, the live leads don't have a lot of value, right?
Right. I think it goes back to this puzzle theme here is, how do we kind of get the pieces in place for Andy and team to kind of help put it together with Laura and supporting the rest of the network. And I think that's where we come in to make sure that we're, driving the right marketing initiatives with each partner. We're very collaborative with Andy's team and the partner directly to make sure that we're leveraging all those different channels accordingly. Also with the exclusive offers, as we touched upon, that Avoya advantage really helps set us apart. So it's really, the combination of identifying, okay, where can we strategically align and drive these leads to the network. And another big thing that has kind of grown over the last couple of years is the number of specialties that we have within our system for the network to be claiming leads from. So I think that's been a huge testament to the partnerships team, to marketing, to just continue to kind of further expand the customer base, but also which products those travelers are interested in.
And then Chris, I'll jump in here real quick on one thing.
Sure.
The other great thing we've really strived to accomplish over the last 2 years has been our emphasis on the land side of the business. So not only has it historically been heavily cruise focused, it's drastically changed in terms of the sheer volume of leads and sales coming from that land side. So we focused a lot of our efforts on how we can capture more interest and demand on the land side of the business too, which has been a big win overall for the network and Avoya as a whole.
Absolutely. And Laura, I kind of feel like you're our cleanup hitter today. I mean, it all has to come together to generate a sale, a trip that the client actually takes. So the vendors pay a commission, everybody gets their money. So how does solid professional development like that in our Avoya Mastermind program help in that live lead process?
Well, my team, we are headstrong into the live lead piece because that's what happens. They come out of Avoya University, they've learned kind of our system of agent power, and now they're ready to start claiming live leads. And so my team is right there. We have a session with them where we do a live lead walkthrough. We take a look at what information is contained in the lead. And like Andy said, with what they do is they're trying to get people to actually fill in that information. For my team, it's like, okay, so what information did they fill in? How much of it is true? How much of it do we have to kind of go and look for? But really, it's about what information do we have? What information do I need? What are they looking at? So then I get to go take a look, at, okay, what the strategic partnerships out there have out there with the vendor that they're looking at. What's our advantage, the Avoya advantage? And then from there, just knowing who our competition is. So introducing them to, that's a lot of moving pieces right there. But that all boils down to the success of the live lead, is being able to dissect the lead from top to bottom, know what you have, know what you need, and be able to make that connection when you do reach out.
And I know we're going to do questions and answers at the end, and I'm sorry to answer the question already, but it's such a big thing to bring up right now. But somebody asked, do people actually make sales from Avoya live leads? In the Avoya network, approximately 60% of an agency's gross sales at year's end, 60% are generated by an Avoya live lead. That's a huge number, and it really highlights why the Avoya live lead program is so vital to the success of our network, right?
My independent agency was dependent 100% on Avoya live leads when I came in, and I was $1 million agency in my first year. So the models work if you put your systems in place. And again, my team is so is what we're there to coach and help you develop is, what does the system look like? Is your system working? What is working? What's not working? Because with the proper system in place, you can be very successful in this business.
And we have incredible processes in place. We know that all those 90,000 leads aren't closing that first time. So what can we do from a remarketing perspective to get them to come back to Avoya again and again when things change or when a different offer comes out? So we have an incredible marketing department that is continuing to remarket to these customers, add them to different email lists, send them different direct mail campaigns to keep Avoya and the independent agencies top of mind in terms of that relationship. So we're doing a lot of things that are on behalf of the independent agency as well. So once you've kind of booked that client, what can we do downstream or down the road in terms of sending marketing on your behalf and things like that. So it doesn't just stop at the live leads.
And it really dovetails into the next thing that I want to discuss with you guys. And that's our big belief in business intelligence and how that raw information can really help you form a clearer picture, start to really see the puzzle take shape, because numbers don't lie. At Avoya Travel, we hold ourselves to a very high standard, and our company is chock full of overachievers, including every single member of this roundtable. So with that in mind, Laura Burke, Senior Manager of Avoya Mastermind, wow me with an amazing statistic from your world that really highlights just the difference in Avoya Travel.
Well, in my world, we have to get everybody into the mindset that 50% of the leads that they claim won't answer, but the other 50% will, and they'll close within 4 to 8 days. And so creating that sense of urgency and being able to connect quickly, provide value is important. So our team goal is when people come out of Avoya University, that we're trying to get at least 60% of the independent agencies involved with our program. Right now, we're running at 75%. And out of that 75%, we are running at almost 90% of our new independent agencies who are actively participating in our program, achieving their first live lead sales within their first 90 days. So that number has increased tremendously this year. Very proud of that number.
Talk about setting an opening mark for this round of Numbers Don't Lie. That means Mickey McBride, it's on you to up that. Senior Director of Strategic Partnerships. Hit me with those stats, my friend.
That's tough. I definitely am more of a data geek, so this was a really fun kind of deep dive into, what kind of statistics to share. And, while we definitely have grown the number of preferred partners in the network to further, again, provide those resources, we're up close to about 80 preferred partners that have dedicated content and resources available to the network, which coincides amazingly with what Laura and the team provide at the agency level. But the one stat that I kept coming back to was how our resort business has just grown tremendously over the last few years. So very excited to share that we are actually up 45% year to date in booked sales in resorts compared to 2019. And just the value of that segment, enhancements that we made, I've worked very closely with Laura and Andy to help bring greater value to both the network and the travelers here. Helps kind of provide a better sense of a well-rounded platform, right? Like, we have been so good in so many areas, and to see the growth that resorts has had, the number of events that we provide for it, the leads, all these things just continue to really demonstrate the buy-in that and the fit. Not everyone's going to sell resort, not everyone's going to sell cruise. So how do we as an organization best support the network? And that's one that I feel really proud about.
It's a good one too, Mickey. I think that's a big improvement in our number as well, because there's more of a balance between cruise and land now, when we used to be very top heavy with cruise. So that's been fun to watch and grow through this.
Yeah, and we've kind of structured our team from a support model. So we now have on the marketing side brand kind of specialists, we'll call them, that focus on 5 to 7 different brands. And we actually have someone that focuses on, resorts to provide content and blogs and marketing resource center tools and email marketing and social media marketing. So that's been a massive fundamental change for us over the last 2 years, just in terms of the support that we're able to provide for the land side of the business.
But now you got to hit us with that stat, Andy. You got to blow them away, man. 2 for 2. It's got to be 3 for 3.
I mentioned Marketing Resource Center, so that's something I'm extremely proud about, that we launched kind of as things were in the height of the pandemic in late 2020. We were looking for opportunities to support independent agencies without, going out and spending a ton in the marketing, paid marketing efforts. So what we did is we launched a proprietary Marketing Resource Center that's hosted in our CRM, where agents can go in and download incredible assets that are highly engaging, from emails to social to cruise night PowerPoints to direct mail to just an image archive. So I'm happy to say in Q2 alone, we loaded and created 70 unique assets just in Q2, with a tremendous amount already on the books for Q3 and more headed into Q4. So I'm really excited about the Marketing Resource Center from a asset standpoint, where independent agencies can download and use to market their own independent agency business.
Well, I can't resist, and I wanted to play too. So I sourced this amazing stat about Avoya Travel. And one of the biggest things a travel advisor cares about, right? The money. So Avoya Travel pays commissions to agents via direct deposit every week. Yeah, let that sink in for a second. Payments directly to you on a weekly basis. We've never missed a week, not even during the height of COVID. And that's not even my stat. So here's my stat. Trending right now in 2022, we pay out over $500,000 in commissions per week. $500,000, 500 grand in commissions per week for a network that's about 1,000 plus members strong. And no other host agency can make that claim. In fact, one of our competitors was in the travel news recently. They did $400 million in gross sales so far this year. Congrats on that great number. But guess what? They got 70,000 agents. 70,000. Numbers don't lie. Do the math. That's less than $500 in gross sales per agent. That's not even commissions. That's sales. So again, the numbers don't lie. Avoya Travel's far and away the leader in commissions earned per agency, and you get your money every single week. So I think we did pretty good, team. 4 for 4 on the stats, right?
No, that just is to kind of piggyback on that, Chris. I mean, we strive to have the top commission levels across the board. That's a big focus of us on the partnership side, is making sure that we're bringing in those top commission levels for any of our partners, regardless of that product category. So, you know, between the volume that you're talking about and just knowing at an individual booking level, you're getting top commission levels compared to other agencies is a win-win.
So here's another point of pride for Avoya Travel, and that's how we look into the future, how we're trying to invent the future of the travel industry right now. So let me ask each of you, when I say these two things together, what does it mean to each of you? Innovation, Avoya Travel. Who wants to go first on this one?
I'll take this one. I'm in this phone booth, this amazing phone booth right now in our innovation center, which is a very fitting name. So a lot of innovation happens in and outside of these phone booths. You know, Andy's here with me about 10 feet behind. So it's just absolutely so synonymous. And what we try to do is never rest on our laurels. You know, there's always ways to grow our efficiencies, to grow the resources and things like that. As far as looking ahead to the future, you know, we are in the process of joining a new consortium soon. I'm not able to disclose that right now, but that's going to be a big one for us as we move into 2023 and some projects that coincide with that. And then as we just continue to want to look at how to best support the network, we've had 2 new events. We actually had our first ever virtual hotel event last month, where we were able to connect 200 independent agencies with over 20 different hotel partners. And then in just a couple of weeks from now, we have our first ever luxury forum. So these events are really tailored to providing those opportunities for the network to best align their focus, their specialty on taking advantage of those leads that, you know, Andy and team are creating, the general resources that Laura's focused on with her agency, and then connecting that back to a supplier that they, you know, either are currently selling or maybe want to learn more about to sell more of in the future.
All right, who's next? Avoya Travel, innovation.
I'll go.
Okay.
So I have 2 things, actually. One of the other favorite positions that I get to do is work with our development team on our Agent Power resource, which is exclusive to Avoya. It's our platform. And what I love about this is we're meeting weekly. They're meeting daily at a much higher level than mine, to continue to improve processes and technology to make this easier for our network to use the technology and to do what they do best, and that's sell. The other thing is in our world with the network engagement team, which is what my team is a part of, we get to do a lot of traveling. We do boot camps and we do fam trips, and I've been to Sandals, I've been to AMR, I've been on Royal Caribbean, I'm getting ready to go to Princess, and it's all professional development that we're doing with all of these. It's been great. So those are 2 great opportunities there when you talk about Avoya Travel and innovation.
Yeah, and in the marketing landscape, it's changing every single day in terms of what we can send to customers, what we can't send to customers, where we can market, what we can market, et cetera. So staying up to date in the industry is definitely something that myself and the team prides themselves on. Something that has been a huge win for us over the last couple months has been our digital magazine that we have launched. It's Q3 is coming out in early September. That's been a huge team effort across Mickey's team as well as our creative services team. We have a full service in-house creative design team. We work really closely with sourcing content from the suppliers to provide over 120 incredible pages of highly engaging content that we can then go out and market to customers, regardless of where they are in the sales funnel. If they're just looking for inspiration, we have content for them. If we have someone that is looking to actually book tomorrow, we have incredible exclusive offers in there. It's been a huge win for us, providing tools to the independent agencies to go and market their own business too, and send out to clients. So continuing to keep up with the digital trends, moving away from a physical magazine and hosting it, from a digital format has been a big win for us. And also customers continue to engage with it and seem to really love it.
This is why I hang out with smart people like these people, right? Makes my job so much easier. One of the ways we like to reach out to the travel industry is via a social media show I host called On Deck with Avoya, your weekly travel update. It airs most Thursdays at 2:15 p.m. Eastern. That's 11:15 a.m. Pacific for those of you bad with math. And we can get anyone that wants to watch a link. I think we're actually going to drop a link in here as well. You can watch it live on our Facebook channel. And I've had each of the panelists on my show a couple of times. They're true Avoya insiders. So let's pick their collective brains for a second. Andy, let's go back to you. Offer up a piece of advice that would make a tangible difference for somebody in the travel industry from your area of expertise.
I think I actually saw one of the questions come in around specialties and things like that. But I think the biggest takeaway I have is to really focus on a couple, 4 or 5 brands. You don't necessarily have to be an expert in 20 or 30 brands. It's not realistic. And that's what we've kind of focused on our marketing team, is to have those brand specialists that really understand all the ins and outs of the supplier, travel policies, the promotions, but also really understand what the customers are looking for and how to sell that from a marketing perspective. So I'd really focus on a couple of specialties. That doesn't mean they all have to be just river or just resort, but focus on a couple of brands that the inside and out, so you're the true expert from that perspective.
Mickey, what are you going to add to that so that your brother-in-law is not outshining you on this?
Hey, I told him he wasn't allowed to say that.
I'm sorry, I slipped it in.
Yeah, thanks for mentioning that, Chris. That was a big no-no for me, so I appreciate you doing that. So yeah, that's a tough one to beat. But what I'd say is, from a partnership standpoint, really lean into the relationships that we have built over these years. We're a top account for so many partners, and the way that those suppliers have structured their teams really aligns with the best level of support that they can provide back to an independent agency in our network. There's quite a few partners that literally have just Avoya dedicated email addresses, built specifically for us, that has not just one individual, but a collective group of support on their side. So between the support that Avoya provides at our level with our collective teams here, but the support that you get from the suppliers, really lean into that.
Laura, I feel like this is just being set up on a tee for you to walk up and smack out of the park, but go ahead and take your best shot.
Well, with Andy starting out with the brand specialist thing, that's the other piece of our team in network engagement is our brand specialist department that actually supports a brand with our independent agencies to help get the sales even to a higher point, so that we're an extension of the brand and not just we're taking leads. But we have dedicated people who in Avoya are dedicated to that brand, not just at the marketing and strategic partnerships, but at our level when we're interacting with the network. And on top of that, my department, when we're teaching these people coming in, most people right now that we have, most of the IAs coming in are new to travel, so they don't know. So I think it's really important to talk about being a specialist, knowing 1 or 2 things forward, backward, inside out, upside down, because can you sell anything and everything under the sun? Absolutely. Should you? Probably not. We have several, and I mean, when I say several, I'm not talking like 1 or 2. I'm talking like many independent agencies that just sell 1 to 3 brands. That's it, and they are making a living off of it. So lots of resources that we have.
And I'll tie it into marketing real quick too. You don't have to be an expert. You don't have to be sending emails for your own IA business. You don't have to be sending social media, direct mail. Focus on 1 or 2 channels and really understand the nuances of that channel tied to the specialties. And I think it's a win-win.
Yeah. And one more thing to add there, innovation that the network engagement team has had over the years is truly spectacular. The way that they have segmented out different team members to really almost kind of have that same level of specialty and expertise across whichever area that you need help with. So, by leaning into the specialties and selling, 1 to 3 products, whatever it may be, that you're getting that same level of attention on the network engagement side, that brand sales in particular, really honing in on what they can do to help assist drive more sales, help you earn more commission based off of those leads. Because as Andy mentioned, there's a lot coming in. And so how are you equipped from a brand sales team, knowing that you're hearing from former, elite independent agencies like Allura, that brand sales team completely is comprised of independent agencies. So there's just so much expertise that is demonstrated from the top to the bottom.
We've said it before, and I'll say it again. The best of what they do have coaches, and we have some amazing coaches, right? I mean, if you're Tom Brady and you've thrown the football better than anybody else, guess what? You still got a quarterbacks coach. You still got, so having somebody to bounce off of makes a huge difference. And of course, all of this only really matters though, right? Is if the future of our industry that we love so much, that we're excited to be part of, actually has a future itself. So as we kind of tackle one of our last topics before we head into our Q&A segment, first off, what a great panel. I think we're getting some amazing information, but let me ask each of you what your thoughts are on the future of the travel industry. And Laura, let's have you lead this one off.
All right. So I think the future is bright. At this point in time, we're seeing sales, especially when we're looking at our brand sales the program, where our numbers are higher than 2019 levels. So I think we're seeing a shift. People are wanting to go out and travel. We have policies now loosening up, and it's encouraging people. So I think we're going to continue to see, people getting out, people wanting to travel. And with that, we're going to need more people to get in and service these reservations and such. So lots of opportunity. I think the future looks bright. I'm really excited to be a part of it.
Mickey, your thoughts on the future of the travel industry?
Yeah, I mean, this industry is so incredibly resilient. From what we've had to go through the last couple of years, the value of the advisor has never been more important. And as Laura touched upon, there's demand out there now more than there has been in quite some time. And Andy's ready to help capture that, but, need affiliates to be there to claim some of those leads. So we're always looking at ways to, better support the network. And, I had a call with Supplier today, and this is just, again, a testament to the value that an advisor brings is they're a newer partner to the market, and the B2B side of their business has helped make their organization stronger. And that was just such amazing feedback to get prior to this call, is just even from the suppliers to understand how much value an advisor brings to make them better. Collectively, everybody just continues to grow and come out of this pandemic better than ever with travel and technology and all these great different resources that Avoya can provide.
Andy, I want to get your thoughts in 1 second, but I just want to add on to what Mickey said, because if you look at the number of new resorts that are coming online in the next 3, 4, 5 years, if you look at the number of new ships, so when we're talking about coming out of the pandemic, we're not talking about coming out flat and just trying to reestablish previous levels. We're talking about taking those levels and just blowing past them in the most amazing way, right? I mean, Mickey, you must be just blown away by the number of new resorts that are planning to come on board.
It's hard to keep up, to be honest, but it's fun. There's partners that have grown, tenfold in terms of their product. The new ships coming out just continues to be innovative, and these ships need to be filled, and there's travelers out there and there's advisors there to book them. So we're excited to be part of such an amazing industry, to have some key partners coming out with great product that we can continue to sell. But yeah, I mean, you look at Cancun in specific, it's hard to even come up with a number because it just continues to grow.
Absolutely. Just blows me away every time I'm reading the trade press and stuff like that. Andy, what's your thought on that? I mean, when you project into the future and the future of our industry, are we in pretty solid shape?
Yeah, we're already seeing numbers come back to essentially pre-pandemic levels with, an increase in marketing budgets through the rest of the year as well. So I'm really excited about the demand that we can drive for the independent network over the next couple months for the rest of 2022, but also into 2023. And if there's anything we've learned over the last 2 years, it's the value of the travel advisor and the role that they play in crafting these incredible vacations, but also being there from a support standpoint when things may or may not go exactly as the customer plans. So as an independent agency, you're crafting, whether it's a honeymoon or a first trip with a daughter or son, you're crafting these incredible vacations and playing a vital role in the important process for them, but you're also there every step of the way to help them, which makes them, come back over and over again. So I think the value of our model and the value of the travel advisor has never been higher.
I certainly appreciate all of your time for being part of our panel today. I mean, I'm really excited with the information. I know we're excited to share our information with everybody. We would love to start that conversation. My team is just chomping at the bit to have that conversation with you and to share with you even more details about our best-in-class resources here at Avoya Travel. So that as you start to put together this puzzle, it really comes into really clear focus and you can accomplish the dreams that you have as a small business owner. Steph, we hope we've put together a pretty good little presentation today. Do we have any questions that have come in for the panel?
You have a ton that have come in. It's really exciting to see the audience and how engaged everyone is. Kathy, it's great to see that you've joined Avoya. And I know it sounds like there's a lot of people that are interested with some questions. So let's kind of start from the beginning. Well, the first thing I'll ask is, Chris, you mentioned earlier the podcast link. I know Marissa and Annabelle, you're in the comments. If there's a link that we can share with people, that would be really awesome. If you pop that in the links, it'll show up on the screen for everybody. So,
and on our YouTube and Facebook channel, Steph, if they just go to Avoya Network, the Avoya Network page, they can certainly find all of those and then sign up for future broadcasts as they go live and things like that. But we'll certainly make sure we drop that link.
Awesome. All right, so let's see. Our first question comes in. Is from Stephanie Gardner, and Stephanie's asking, does Avoya help with startup agencies, so brand new advisors? Do you work with them?
Absolutely, in great detail. We love those new to the industry because they come in like a big lump of clay, and then people like Laura and her team can go in and help mold them and provide the resources so they can establish the best practices. Right, Laura?
Correct. That is the meat and potatoes of my department, the newbies coming in. I love when we have people come in with open eyes, open minds, like sponges, just taking suggested best practices and just, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't work, molding and shaping and growing. And that's what our team at Avoya is all about.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. There's another one that came in from Eli Cooper. And this is a good question because Avoya has a really, really strong consumer, like a presence with the consumers. So do you have any marketing material for Eli if they joined that they could use that would have their agency's brand on it, or does it need Avoya's?
Yeah, so I'll take that one. So a lot of the information we've been talking about today is Avoya driving live leads through our patented technologies that then the independent agencies claim. But we also have and support independent agencies that bring in their own book of business or want to find their own book of business and market their own business. So we have resources in place to provide them marketing materials that can be co-branded with their logo or strictly with their logo and no Avoya logo. So there is opportunities for that. And we have a full in-house creative services team that can work with you on those marketing materials.
That's fantastic. Well, Eli's got a lot of questions. I'm loving this, Eli. Eli's also wondering, how do you support travel agencies from an operational and or technical standpoint? We covered a lot of topics on that, but maybe can you give us some highlights on what makes you unique from the support you offer from operational and technical side of things?
I mean, our back office is second to none. I mean, from the coordination with the vendors to make sure that the commission payments are on time, to providing the statistics that a business owner would want to have so that they can make operational choices as the business owner, right? That's one of the key things is that they're always in control. They run their own business. So providing that business intelligence, the back office, our groups department. I mean, we've covered a lot of ground today, but we could probably do this like every Wednesday for the next 6 or 7 weeks, if you want to know the truth, Stephanie, and just barely scratch the surface of what Avoya Travel
It's a date.
provides.
It's a date. I cannot wait. Clear your schedules, everybody. That's perfect. All right. So next question from Katie Hotlin. And Katie asks, are agents able to specialize or focus on niche travel? How does that work with the Live Leads program?
I can jump in first. So yeah, we're providing and driving live leads where the demand is. So there's not always going to be a ton of leads on the really small brands. So I recommend, or I think it's a good opportunity to specialize in a couple of brands where there is volume, but also focus on your own marketing efforts on some of the brands that you want to focus that may be more niche to kind of work together. So there's going to be, a lot of mass market cruise leads on an everyday basis. So kind of supplement your business with some of those live leads, but then also market your own business and some of those niche opportunities that you're focused on.
Yeah, and we have the partnerships in place to be able to support the education to help you grow your business there. There's a lot of great resources that not just Avoya has, but the suppliers have that are eager to work with you to help make sure that if you are having to source, your own groups or marketing to a specific niche product or destination, that you can count on at least one or two partners that we work with to be able to support you there.
To cover everything. That's great. Eli has another question. Eli's, I don't want to play favorites with the students and the people watching, but Eli's got a lot of great questions. So what kind of events do you offer for agents? I love to network and would want to be able to meet suppliers if possible. So I'm guessing this is you, Mickey.
I'll take this one. We have an amazing portfolio of different events that we work with partners on, but also, like Laura had mentioned, there's some great opportunities for immersion academies, EFAMs, as we kind of like to call them, boot camps. So our primary events that we do have to offer are our big conference that takes place in the fall. And then we do have our Landform event. Those are the two big in-person 20 plus supplier partners, if not more, to be able to really focus on networking and meeting one-on-one. And then those usually coincide with a virtual event prior. So that way we're really honing in on the education piece before those in-person networking events. Then layered throughout the year, we have something like the hotel event, the luxury forum. We have a new affiliate event. So for those that are on the call, you have time to join us before that event in December. And that'll be a great opportunity to work with the different supplier partners that you'll see. I'll say kind of higher levels of engagement across the board, maybe some ones with more leads, things like that, and as a nice little teaser. But then, speaking for what they do on the network engagement side, and this is something that really kind of opened my eyes to what that team provides with education, is these boot camps, immersion academies, just again, different ways to experience a product in a more smaller, intimate setting. And Laura, I don't know if there's anything else you want to add, but there's tremendous value there as well.
There's no better way, no better time to invest in yourself, in your business. In these boot camps, what we do is we basically say, okay, we're going to go see this product, we're going to see this destination, but we are going to focus 100% on and get into your business. We're going to take it apart, we're going to put it back together, we're going to give you suggested best practices. You're going to have access to Avoya's team, and you're going to have access to some of the suppliers that are, so supplier reps that are on board. And this is probably the statistic I should have brought up, but I want to say that for the Royal Caribbean boot camp that we had back in May, of the people who attended that, sales for those businesses in that product went up over 500%. I mean, that's a huge number right there. So, just taking the time to understand how to use all the resources, put the systems in place, and leverage them for your sales.
Yeah. Well, so Gianna has a question, and we kind of answered it with this last question, but if there's anything else you want to add to this. So do you offer fam trips or any other educational travel opportunities?
Yeah, I'll take this one. Oh, go ahead, Mickey. Go ahead.
I was just going to say those are definitely a big part of what we've been able to kind of work with the network engagement team on. So there are Avoya exclusive fams. There's also a lot of opportunities that come out throughout the whole year, based off the relationships that we have with these partners. They always like to hold at least a couple spots for Avoya. So whether it's something more on a one-off like that, or in these structured events that we have to be able to provide to you, there's plenty of opportunities to get on a ship, to get on a resort, to see a new destination.
Perfect.
And while the FAMs and opportunities are geared in many ways to people that are kind of new, as if you've ever been involved in sales, you know the more you sell, the better the opportunities come, right? I mean, it only makes sense for the vendors. They want their heavy hitters to come and experience their new products. And you're not going to find more heavy hitters that are in the Avoya network. So, I mean, it goes hand in hand. The opportunities come to those who perform. And Avoya, we perform.
Mm-hmm. This is kind of the elephant in the room. Gianna's just asking it. I really want to become a travel agent, but why should I pick Avoya over other host agencies?
Well, the
Boom.
industry's voted
Mic
us
drop.
number one. The industry's voted us number one 7 years straight, right? I mean, we're known in the industry as the affiliate base with the highest grossing and the highest commission generating affiliate base. I mean, again, going back to the whole concept that numbers don't lie, we have the highest number of support people. These aren't the only 4 people that work for Avoya Travel. I mean, our Rolodex is pretty thick, you know what I mean? So nobody else can match that on a number of affiliates to resources offered basis. I mean, I know I'm biased, but I brag for a reason.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. So we've got a few that have come in from Troy Scott. So I'll start with the first one. What training resources are available after joining? So we did kind of cover some of the resources, but I don't know if anyone wants to touch on that a little bit more.
So I'll go ahead and take this one. The professional development that's offered from the time that you onboard, you go through Avoya University, you learn the platform of Agent Power. And then from there, you get to come and actively participate. Is up to you. It's always up to you. This is optional professional development. But my team provides a year of resources for you in sales. Our main goal is to get you to that first sale, walk you through your first trip record, making sure all your I's are dotted, T's are crossed. But we also know that in the first year, there's a lot of things that go. I know that for me, it was all about the roller coaster that was. I went 48 leads in a row where I couldn't give a cruise away. And then all of a sudden, boom, 5 in a row closed. So numbers don't lie. Numbers are all a part of this piece. But from Avoya University, which is our network enrichment team, to our brand sales department, where you can, focus on just a brand and get the brand specific, to the sales specific, to our support team. We have an amazing support department. Carrie and her team, there's no one better. In all the years and the different positions that I've held with organizations, we have a top-notch support team out there as well. So lots of resources. You just have to come in and take advantage of them.
Yeah, and it sounds like there's a lot of the formal resources for training available, as well as informal with just being able to reach out to people in different departments.
A lot of on-demand stuff.
If people are engaged, Steph, if people are engaged in the concept of being a small business owner, being a travel advisor, we have so many different ways to engage with them. I mean, the ball's always in their court, and we'll engage as long as they are, but the opportunities are numerous.
Yeah. Troy's also wondering, is there any support provided? So it sounds like Troy's brand new. Is there any support provided to assist with incorporation or DBAs?
None specifically, because each state has a different criteria on how to do that, and certain DBAs are handled by the county and by the city. We can certainly steer you in the right direction. I can tell you that it's a pretty simple process. I mean, personally, I've set up several LLCs in the state of Florida for some other things that I'm involved with. It takes about 5 minutes, and then the check just has to clear, and boom, you've got your LLC. So my team can certainly point you in the right direction and help be a resource, but not a specific resource, because there's so many different governing bodies that are involved in that.
Yeah, I agree with that. And Troy, sometimes the DBA or the LLC can seem really intimidating, and maybe it's different in other states, but it's actually really deceivingly simple. I'm like, did I just create an LLC? I guess so. Okay, well, guess we're going forward. And 10 years later, I'm still an LLC, so I must have done it right. At least I think. All right. Troy has another question. Is there a fee to join Avoya? How much? And are there costs for training or other IA costs that they should try to plan for?
So our affiliation price currently is $495 to affiliate with the Avoya Travel Network. And if you don't mind me just going back to when we talked about the numbers don't lie segment, I want to point something out. Avoya, again, pays out $500,000 a week in commissions. That's been the trend for 2022. We've got about 1,000 plus people on our network. If you do the math, our average affiliate's getting a direct deposit of over $400 a week. So you're talking about a business that you can return your return on investment in 2 weeks of just being average. You don't even have to be above average. You just have to be average 2 weeks in order to see that return on investment for that $495. And we think that is beyond reasonable. As far as other fees, we do have a monthly fee if you fail to generate $1,000 in gross commissions. Again, do the math. Most of our affiliates are not paying that. We're not really a fee-based. We're a shared success model. We want people engaged in the process of being a small business owner in the travel industry. And for those people, very few fees involved. But my team is more than happy to get into all the specific details. We just hope you reach out.
Yeah. Well, we have some more questions I want to go over, but I also want to be respectful because I know at 3:30 some people might be logging off. So for those that need to log off in like a minute or two, we'll put a contact us slide up after the end of the question and answers. But maybe, Chris, you can let us know if people want to ask more questions or reach out or learn more about Avoya. What's the best way to do so?
AvoyaNetwork.com is by far the best place to get started. There's a whole host of information there. Avoya Network on Facebook and on YouTube has a ton of videos that really dive deep into each of our resources. And you can always reach out to me, chris.greene, that's Greene, at avoyatravel.com, and I'll connect you with one of my amazing teammates.
That's perfect. Thank you. All right. So let's jump back into these questions here. Latara Owens is asking, I would like to start my specialty in inclusive traveling trips. Can Avoya book flights and land resorts? I ask because I see a lot of promotions offering discounts on cruises.
Yeah, I'll take that one. So the short answer is yes, absolutely. And we haven't been able to grow our resort business by 45% compared to 2019 without putting together some exclusive offers. We have some one-of-a-kind opportunities that happen throughout the year where we have a bundle deal with a specific hotel and airfare out of certain gateways where you won't find a lower price. We also do savings offers with pretty much every resort across the board over a certain duration. So if you don't see anything right now, that's not because it doesn't happen. It just might not be running at this point in time. But rest assured, there's a lot of promotion and educational value to help really grow your all-inclusive vacation business. We have affiliates in the network doing $1 million plus year to date just in resorts and all-inclusives.
Perfect. We have another one from Michael Isaac. Great question here. How are leads given? Is it based on volume?
I'll take this one. Leads are distributed through Agent Power, and it's based on your independent agency's performance within the specialty that you are choosing to claim Avoya Live leads in. So there's a lot of factors involved in that. But when you come in, you'll learn this through Avoya University and through my team that you've got about 30 days to establish that independent agency metric. 30 days, 30 leads. And that's why it's so important to connect with my team, get through that first sale so that you can start off on the right foot and be able to get those live leads based on the success that you're having.
Perfect.
And I'd just like to add really quick, because it's a stat that Andy gave earlier, 90,000 leads so far generated, Andy. 1,000 plus independent affiliates. Again, math doesn't lie. There's plenty of opportunities from a live lead standpoint. If you're an independent affiliate, again, engage in the process of being a travel advisor.
Excellent. We have one from Ada Shikara saying, about how long would you say it can take for a dedicated agent to be able to make enough commission to quit their job and have Avoya as their main income source? Another great question.
This goes back to the big dream, right? It's the dream that so many people have, and the reason so many of us got involved in this in the first place. And there's so many factors involved. And I would say it's hard to give you a strict timeline without knowing your sales background and how strong a business owner you're going to be. But I can tell you that our success and our track record is better than most of our competitors from that standpoint, because we do have the teams in place like we're featuring today, Laura and her team, and they can really help you establish that best practices. But one of the big things that people have to realize is they have to, as the owner of their business, which is them, have to hold their best employee to a very high standard. And guess what? That employee is also them. So, it all kind of comes full circle from that standpoint.
Exactly. Let's see. Erica has a question. How do I get started as a new agent with Avoya? I filled out the form online and haven't heard back from anyone. So I'm not sure when you filled it out, Erica, but who wants to take this one?
Well, make sure you check your spam folder for sure, because we definitely, if there was a contact form, we would have reached out and offered an opportunity to engage with a specialist, and we certainly would do that. I go back, I'll give my email again to Erica. You can just reach out to me personally. I'll personally make sure one of our specialists contacts you. But it's chris.green, that's green with an extra E on the end, GREENE at avoyatravel.com, or again at Avoya Network. And I'm going to search the system afterwards, Erica, and see if I can't do a little backtrack myself on that.
Yeah, I'll send you the last name too, Chris, so you can
Thanks,
look up that info. Yeah. Let's see. And then we have one from Kathy. And Kathy is saying, is there an agent Facebook page for Avoya agents? I would like to go ahead and join.
So there is a Facebook page. There's actually a couple of Facebook pages. There's one for the people who are new coming in. And then once they have been with Avoya for a year, generated over $100,000 in sales, then they can request to join the other one. But both of these Facebook pages are open once you've completed your professional development with Avoya University. So, Kathy, if you haven't gone through Avoya University at this point in time, not quite there yet for the Facebook page, but we look forward to seeing you once you do complete the Avoya University professional development.
Perfect. And that looks like our last question. If you have one that you just want to get out and you just haven't typed it in yet, please type that in, because we'll start wrapping up now. So I wanted to say this has been really insightful for me, as we deal with host agencies all day long, but it's really fun to see the inner workings of Avoya. And the stats were fun, Chris, very fun. I also love data myself. So let's see. Is there anything else any of you would like to share before we get going? I know if Marissa can share the screen with the contact us information, we can also put that up for people. Oh, there we go. Bump, bump, bump. All right. Oops, wait, hold on. We might have to make that full screen because we're covering up the information. All right. So there's the information to contact. Chris is probably going to be your point of contact, it looks like, Chris.
Yep, they can certainly reach out to me, and I'll disseminate the information to one of our network expansion specialists who are more than happy to have that conversation and just go back and forth and see if it's going to be a good fit.
Excellent. Oh, and Cornell just wrote in. Okay, Cornell, I think I saw this earlier, so I'm sorry I missed that. I'm with you, Cornell. I want to get the dish. I want the dirt. Who are you partnering with now that you are no longer with American Express? Can we get anything? Or are you too tight-lipped? Oh, you're killing us. I thought we talked about puzzles. I thought we were good friends. Like, I do puzzles too, you guys.
No, I know. Have your people call my people. We'll do lunch when the information's ready to be shared. But it's kind of cool because it's kind of like being the top quarterback coming out of high school, and all the colleges that are really important are kind of recruiting you. Every major consortia would love to have Avoya Travel make the decision to join them. And what we want to focus on is making sure that we make a decision that's best for our network, because our network always is number one in our mind, and we want the opportunities to increase for our network, and we can't wait to share the information once it becomes formalized.
And okay, so when is the timeline again for this? Did you say this fall?
Well, American Express announced that they're sunsetting their whole program for everybody by year's end. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be before the end of the year. We know that.
All right, Cornell, we didn't get a ton, but we'll have to work better. Obviously, we aren't very persuasive yet. Well, perfect. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Hopefully, you can reach out to Avoya with any questions you might have. And thank you to the entire Avoya team that came on and put this together. Like I said, it was very insightful for me and for, it looks like, the people that were listening in. So with that, I think we can sign up. Cornell's feeling sad about it too. I hear ya. We will see you all for our next webinar, or actually this Friday. I was going to mention, because our Friday 15, we do a podcast every Friday at 12 o'clock Central Time, where we answer the industry questions that came in. And there's actually one this Friday about Avoya's live leads, which is super random. So tune in for that. It's on our YouTube channel, again, 12:30 Central Time this Friday. And we'll answer some questions about Avoya's live leads from there. Thank you again, everyone. And thank you to the Avoya team.
Bye.